Welcome back to Devi Daly Yoga and the 14-day Yin Reset. This is day number 7, and today we will be emphasizing the spine, which in a way we're always emphasizing the spine in Yin Yoga, but today we're going to be getting into some specific forward bending movements that really help us to access these 7 layers of fascia that bind the spine together and that tend to want to kind of shrink wrap unless we give them a little bit of love and care and attention, which is what we're going to do. So for this practice, you'll want to have a cushion, and you might not need it if you don't usually use a cushion for your forward bends, but I'm going to use it today for mine, and you can see what works for you. We're going to begin in butterfly pose with the cushion, if you're using it, under your seat. Soles of the feet together, open the knees, come forward, relax here, and this is where we begin to get into this terrain of the spine. And sometimes we emphasize the inner thighs in this pose, but today, since we are emphasizing the spine, you might want to try having your feet a little farther forward than usual, which will take the stretch into the torso, into the spine more. And once you've found the place that your body is starting to surrender into gravity, take a breath in to the spine. Say hello to this spine. Breathe into the lower back, the sacrum. Slowly releasing. Make your way onto your back, knees coming in together. 1 minute to rest on the back and feel the spine. Any comfortable position on your back now. One of my favorite things that one of my teachers, Peggy Orr, used to say is, probably still says it, is that the shoulders and the hips are the dragons at the gate of the spine. That we are really kind of getting into the good stuff here. Now that we're at day 7, we can start to enter into this territory of the spine and its energies. Let's take a breath into the body, into the spine. And exhaling, bend your knees, draw them in. Gently rock side to side. Feeling the lower back, the lower part of the spine. Rolling over onto one side to come up to hands and knees and into rolling panda. Then from hands and knees, lift the left arm up and exhale, slide it under, taking the left shoulder to the ground, the right palm on the ground above the head, and begin to feel this length on the left side of the neck, the side of the neck that's near the ground, and take your right foot out to the right side. Now, the way we get into the spine here is by kind of tucking the head farther under so the gaze comes toward the sky, and pressing into this right foot to bring the emphasis more into the back body. You've done the graceful bow pose with me, and if this pose here is too much for you, then take the graceful bow pose instead, where you're sitting on your heels, upright, and dropping the head to one side. As you hold this rolling panda pose, if this is where you are, you can think about this as almost like a variation of snail pose or halasana, if you're familiar with those, with plow pose, the other name is it. And if you want to do some different fancy things with this right arm, feel free to play a little bit. And slowly unwinding, coming back around, hands and knees, and moving to the other side. I'm going to turn around just so you can see me, and we'll lift the right arm up. Inhale, exhale, sliding it under, taking the right shoulder to the ground, feeling the length on the right side of the neck, and now taking this left foot out to the side like a kickstand. Left palm presses into the earth above the head. And once you've got the general shape, tucking the head farther through, pressing into the left toes, left ball of the toes, left ball of the foot, and getting that little bit of extra oomph to bring the stretch into the back body. Steady breath, healing the upper spine. And unwinding, coming back around, taking it into child's pose. 1 minute in child's pose to rest and feel the effects. And from child's pose, coming forward all the way onto the belly for seal pose. Optionally, you could stay on the elbows and do Sphinx, or pressing up, hands can be farther forward for a less intense angle, or closer in for more intensity. And breathe into the lower back, the sacrum. This particular way of stimulating the spine is different in that it's not stretching the spine. All of our forward bends are stretches of the spinal fascia and muscles. And here instead we're compressing the spine in a therapeutic way, just gently pressing the bones and discs. Now let's slowly bring it back down, resting your forehead on your hands, stacked hands for that crocodile pose. Breathing here, feeling the effects, feeling the low back, sacrum, lumbar spine. Feel the energy that's been awakened here. Slowly releasing, pressing up and back into child's pose just for a couple of breaths here to bend the spine the opposite way. You could wiggle your tail a little bit. And now let's come up and sit with the legs in front for caterpillar pose. Cushion under the seat as an option here. And coming forward over the legs. Hands might rest on the legs or on the floor or on the feet. Wherever you are, take a breath in to fill the belly, the lungs, the spine, And exhale and soften your whole torso, soften the spine into the torso. And slowly releasing caterpillar, pausing at the top, feeling the spine. Taking a 1-minute rebound here in an upright position, seated, or you can come onto your back if you'd like. Bringing your awareness right into the spinal column. And when you're ready, opening the eyes and transitioning to the wall for snail pose or legs up the wall pose at the wall. If you are comfortable with snail pose, if it's part of your practice already and you want to just do it without the wall, then please go ahead and do that, maybe with a blanket underneath your shoulders. If you're joining me for this legs up the wall exploration, we're going to take the legs up the wall, sitting bones at the wall. And this is where you might stay, especially if you're not inverting or you have any concerns about your neck. If you are going to move into some inverting, we can do it without a lot of strain on the neck, starting with the feet flat on the wall, and then just peeling the tailbone up off the ground. And you might go just a few inches, hang out there, or you might come up higher, maybe to the point where the hands support the lower back or the back of the pelvis. And here you could choose to roll your shoulders under you a little more. And this might be where you stay, which is like a supported shoulder stand. Or perhaps one leg wants to explore coming over, and the other leg. Maybe both legs. And again, if this is too much on your neck, then just keep both feet on the wall. Finding your version of the pose. Maybe just playing around with the variations and the different heights. And slowly, if you're not already there, and legs up the wall, let the hips come down, or if you're in the snail, not at the wall, slowly rolling onto your back. resting here. Bending the knees, hugging them in. Lifting the forehead up toward the knees, squeezing into a ball. And releasing the head back down. Coming over onto one side to set up for supported fish pose. We're going to do this with a blanket or cushion, whatever you have available. If you have blocks, to do it the way we did, I think in yesterday's class, we had one block under the back of the heart and one under the head. Here I'm going to use this cushion to have under the back of the heart instead. And then I may or may not want to use my pillow under my head. No, I think I'm okay without it. And so any way that you have to use what's around you to support the back of the heart and possibly also the head, so you can get this upper back opening, heart opening. This range of motion is a very good counter stretch to the snail pose, which really bends the upper spine. Let's take a deep breath into the upper spine. Exhaling, soften the upper spine. And slowly releasing. You could roll to the side or push yourself straight up. We're going to make our way into a final relaxation, which could be, once again, legs up the wall, or could be on your back in any comfortable position. Make yourself comfy and cozy, extra clothing, blankets, eye pillow, whatever you need. And here we have these moments, these rich moments to feel and appreciate the energies of the spine. The spine is where the root of each one of our chakras lies, and whether you follow that system or not, knowing that the chakras are centers of potent, powerful energy, you could imagine if there is any feeling of life force flowing through you in this moment, life force that manifests as joy or an active mind, or even sadness or depression or anger. This is all manifestations of the life force. And if there is somewhere in the spine that this energy seems to be coming from or dwelling around, then maybe that is your life force chakra for this moment. Maybe there's a place now that you want to breathe into and breathe out from. And that is our time today. I'll let you transition in your own way today, in your own time. You could stretch out, you could stay a bit longer. And I look forward to practicing with you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day.